All right, everybody, welcome back. We're excited to be season 3. I can't believe this is our third season already. This is crazy. This is one of my favorite things to do in the world. I love it. I love being with the BS. But this is our week 1 edition of the 2022 season of the BSB. I'm Sean Kaus,
I'm Tony James.
and we are your betting strategy brothers. Man, third season. This is incredible. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I miss doing this with you. I miss you. I'm happy to be back here.
Yeah,
Um,
I just want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Eric who gave us these little tunes for our intro and outro music. So that was super cool of him. He just
yeah,
fired that up one day and said, "Here, you should try using this." And dude, we totally love it. So thanks so much.
yeah. Thank you, Eric. It's awesome. We love it. Um, just a quick reminder, this is our third season. So those of you who've been following us, you know what we're about. You know how we work. But for those of you that are new this year, we are both teachers by trade. Okay, that's what we do is we teach. So while we don't guarantee any predictions we have, we are trying to teach you and trying to, yes, this is what we see, this is what we do, and this is really what we're betting. We're really betting this every week, but we're trying to teach you about it. Okay, we're not just sitting here saying, "Oh, you should pick this person, and you should do this, and you should do this." We're trying to give you a little strategy and a little insight. So when you do go to that window, or you do pick up your phone and you go, "Well, I heard so and so did this, and they got this much money. I don't know how to do that. What do I do?" So we're hoping you pick that up from us.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we understand that we're smart enough to know that we're not going to win every time, but what we want to do is we want to at least put the odds in our favor as much as possible, because a profitable week is way better than sitting there just losing your shirt. So we're going to try and help you out and give you some ideas. You can take our ideas and run with them. You can take our ideas and go, you know what, they're full of crap. I'm going to use my own ideas. And it is what it is. Whatever you decide to do, we just hope you win money, and we hope you're successful, and we want you to learn something.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So why don't you tell them what we're doing, Tony? Tell them how we do each week.
All right. So first off, what we do is we start off with $100 each at the beginning of the season, and then we see how big we can make it that year over the course of the season. So last year we did pretty good. We both ended up about $300 up for the year. That's 18 weeks of regular season, NFL anyway, and then the college season in there as well, about 14 weeks of that. And then playoffs and bowl games. So we keep a running tab. We'll update you weekly on how much we're up or down. And we set a goal this time. We want to try and be up 300. I'd like to be up $300. That'd be great. Did you have a different
I'm
goal?
I'm shooting big this year. I think I can do a K this year. That's my goal. And,
Let's
and
go.
when I look at it, and we've said it before on the show, once again, for those of you new this year, this season, thanks for joining us. We don't always put all of our bets on here. So personally, I'm up a lot more than that. But just for what we did on the show, we're at, we were up about $300 each. I think I was at like 280 and you might have been at like 320 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But my goal this year for the show is to be up a K. And once again, we'll do a ton of bets. We'll try to put them out on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff daily. I've been doing a little TikToks here and there for, what my bets are going to be each week. So you guys can always, check those out. You can comment, you can email us, whatever, all that stuff. Get involved. We like to hear feedback. We like to hear all of it. So, like when I say I was up more, I was up more. If you want to talk more about it, hit us up there and we will.
For sure. We love giving our advice. And like I said, you may look at our reasoning and go, man, that makes a lot of sense. You may look at it and go, you know what, I'm going to go the other way on this because I have a gut feeling about it. But like I said, either way, we want you to win.
I gotcha. Well, something else we love to do while we're watching sports, and just about every football fan does, is get our little drinky on. So we got our flavor of the week. Every week we'll tell you something else we're going to be drinking that weekend, or maybe that night, or whatever. So this week I'm going back. I am a big whiskey guy. For those of you who've been here know it. I might have even done this whiskey before. I don't remember, but I'm a little empty on my big guy here. But I'm going a little Jim Beam Black. And sometimes I'll drink it. If I'm just sitting down at the end of the night, I'll just have it on rocks. But usually when I'm drinking for the day and I'm day drinking, I'm gonna be watching football all day, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. I'll mix it with a little ginger ale and some maybe a little twist of lime in there. But that's what I'm drinking this week. What's your flavor this week, Tony?
Man, that sounds awesome. That sounds nice and tasty. I've got Battleborn beer from Reno, Nevada. I went up to Reno a couple weeks ago. Actually, oh shoot, it's more than a couple weeks ago. It's about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And got some beers and brought them back. This is nice and light because I do have to work tomorrow because we are recording on a Tuesday this time. And after a long weekend, nothing goes down smoother than an adult beverage after the first work day of a short week. So this beer, it's very light. I add a little tangerine oil to it. It tastes really good. Very refreshing, and it tastes like whooping UNLV's ass.
Go Wolfpack. Go Wolfpack. All right. So before we get into our week 1 picks, we're going to tell you the basic picks we do every week and kind of we'll explain them as we go. But first of all, we have money line or spread, and I'm going to tell you about those right now. So when you have the money line, you're picking teams straight up, no points, no anything. So, like we'll go to the NFL opener, Buffalo, my Bills versus the Rams. The Bills are favored in this one, so their money line is minus money. And what that means is you're going to lay down more money. You're going to put more money out there to win less than you put down. Now, don't forget, you always get your bet back if you win. So if it's like 10 to win, like if your ticket says bet is $10 and you claim 16, you really only made 6 because 10 of that is your bet back. Mm-hmm. But that's what money line is. You're betting straight up, and usually on the money line, you want to bet money line when it is underdogs that you're sure are going to win. I mean, there's 2 trains of thought. Underdogs that you're sure are going to win because they're going to be plus money. So you could lay $10 down and you could win $36 back for that money line bet. Once again, you're getting 10 of that as your bet back, but you're still making 26. On the other side of that is people like the money line because they don't have to mess with points. They don't have to worry about how different it is. And if you have, even if it's, I mean, I've said it before, if it's, and I've done it on the show before, it was, I think, $20 to win 20 cents for Trevor Lawrence to go first round pick. I remember that. It was $20 to 20 cents. And I'm like, it's guaranteed money. Trevor Lawrence was going first and we knew that. So why not take the guaranteed money? For sure. There's that type. There's also the spread. When you're talking about the spread, you're talking about now you're giving up points. So Buffalo this week is minus 2.5. So that means when they start the game, they're basically a field goal behind already. So they have to win by 3 or more to win that bet. So it makes it a little tougher on you, which makes the odds go in your favor. So even though the money line bet on Buffalo is 10 to win 6, the spread, when you take the points, you're still going to have a line there. Okay, a lot of people get that confused. Oh, well, we tend to no. You still have odds. They call that odds, and you still have odds. And I think at this point, Buffalo minus 2.5. I think it's even money. When I looked earlier, it was even money, and it was 10 to win 10, but sometimes it's 10 to win 9 or 10 to win 11 or something like that. So you still have odds on it, but it's based on you're getting better odds because you're taking them with the points.
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up. And then what we could also do is we could take a couple of those bets and put them together into a parlay where we'll combine the bets. And what we'll do is we'll make it so maybe I take a couple of those bets like Buffalo and Philadelphia or somebody like that, and I combine them together. So now I can get, maybe it's instead of 10 to win 9, maybe now it's 10 to win 26. The thing is, though, both of those bets have to come in. If one of them loses, then the whole ticket is done. So it's one of those things where it's a little bit more risk, but also could be significantly more reward. We also like to do teasers. Teasers, you can change the spreads in your favor. So, for example, in this game on Thursday night, Buffalo's favored by 2.5. If I do a 6-point teaser on it, instead of giving up 2.5, now they're getting 3.5. So it makes the odds a little bit better for you to win. Now the payout is a little bit less because the odds, you've changed the odds, so the payout is a little bit less. But sometimes you stack a few of those together on a teaser, and a win is a win, man. A win. I'm not going to ever apologize for a win.
Nope. Never.
So
No. Nope. All right. So like we said, we bet $100 up to $100 each week. I think this week I actually stayed under, but that's because I want to throw some preseason bets out there. Now, some people don't like preseason bets. I like them. Um, the reason people don't like preseason bets is because, and I'm not talking about betting on preseason. What I'm talking about is saying this is going to happen during the year, during the whole NFL season. This is going to happen. Problem with that is, as soon as you bet, you pay the casino, the money's there, or wherever you're betting, and it's tied up there until it finishes. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you about MVP. I'm going to talk to you about Super Bowl division winner, all that stuff. And then I'm going to talk to you about over under wins. So until that comes through, until the season's over, the year 10 or 20 or 100 or however much you put on it is tied up there. It is in that bet. So you cannot make a bet. Like, let's just say we're talking about the $100 a week here. If my money added up to 100, I'm that $30 or whatever I bet, that's still tied up. I can't use that. I'm not going to get that bet back for 18 weeks. So a lot of people don't like that. They don't like having their money tied up. But sometimes if you pick the right bet, you can make a lot of money. Other times it's just fun going, oh, like when you take an MVP. Oh, how's he doing each week? How's somebody else doing? Who's the front runners? Who's the, this and that? Like I had Josh Allen last year, and at the beginning of the year, it was Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray didn't even come close. The Allen was 2 in voting, and Rodgers got it. So it's fun to kind of keep you involved that way, knowing you have that money going. It's fun to keep that involved. So I love doing the preseason, even though, yes, it ties up my money all season. I still love doing it. So I'm going to start with my surprise one. And this surprised a lot of people. But I'm taking the Panthers, and I'm taking them to get over 6.5 wins this year. And I did this, excuse me, I did this real early. I probably did it. I might have even done it. No, I think I did it right after they got Baker. Okay. I think I did it right after they got Baker. And I said, he's going to come back with a vengeance. He's been on the Browns. The Browns are historically bad. I mean, come on. Look what they did with Watson. Who the hell gives that guaranteed money? Now they're trying to change the market for quarterbacks, and other teams are going, no, they're saying, look what's happened with Lamar right now. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So you have, somebody that is not morally sound. Let's just say that. I think they're going to pick up Matt Ariza next week. But you got this team that's not historically run well, all this, and Baker was on there. And yes, Baker, he has his weak points. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting there saying he's great. But I think he's going to come out of the vengeance. He's got a new coach. He's got, somebody good in front of him. And he's actually got a little bit of competition. Not that Sam Darnold is great. He sees ghosts, whatever. But he does have a little bit of competition that he hasn't had before. So he's got to keep up. And I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. He's going to show him what's about. So I think over 6.5. And I actually got it at even money. It's 10 to win 10. So when I get paid, I'll get 20 back. And I actually was drunk in Vegas this summer with friends of mine. I was talking to them like, yeah, so we actually ended up putting more money on it. So that's kind of my surprise. My other semi-surprise, and if you guys watch the show, I have no love for the Cardinals. But I actually took them under 9 wins this year. Part of that is Kyler Murray's whole I unfriend, I friend, I this and that and the other thing, which,
what a circus. What a freaking circus.
Well, to me and you, for the show, we love social media, and we love to do that. But our personal lives, it's like social media is whatever. Every once in a while, I'll scroll through TikTok when I'm bored and it's funny and whatever. That's about it. Like, I don't live and die by it. But you look at Kyler Murray's generation, you look at that age group, that's them. So to say, you got these broadcasters and everybody go, oh, it's no big deal. It's just he unfriended or this and that and the other thing. That's because we're old. hate to admit it, but we're old. I mean, we're not old, but that's not our generation. We didn't grow up with that. We didn't live and die by that shit. If we had that when I was a kid, oh
Yeah,
man,
our lives would be
yeah,
completely different.
correct. I remember being at parties where people would beat up people because they brought cameras, no freaking evidence, and now everybody's got a freaking phone out every time they're doing something. So it's a different generation. So that did mean something. You can't tell me that did not mean anything by him doing that. The other thing is, the other reason I took it is because Hopkins is out for 6 weeks. And you will look at when the Cardinals fell apart last year, it was when Hopkins was gone. And I understand they got Hollywood this year, but Hollywood was supposed to complement Hopkins. He was supposed to be that two back when Hopkins was getting double teamed. They couldn't do it anymore with him. Now all they got is Hollywood. And Hollywood's not bad, but he's not Hopkins. And now he's your number one. Like, I don't think it's going to work for you. So that's why I took the under 9. And yes, it had a little bit to do with the fact that I can't stand
a little bit of hate watching there.
Little bit of hate watching there. But I put 35 on it. I'm only getting 61 back, so I'm only making 26. But that shows you Vegas feels the same way I do. I took Allen to win the MVP again. And believe it or not, he is the front runner. And this is one of those that I love. He's the front runner, and it was still $10 to win 80. So I'm going to be up $70 if he gets the MVP this year, which I hate being a Bills fan. I kind of hate that Allen's going to be the MVP. You're going to win everything. I kind of hate that. I like being the underdog, but man, 10 to win $70. Like, man, he was in the running. He's been in the running past couple of years. Why not?
It's hard to say no to that, especially because his trajectories keeps going up. And the team keeps improving. Probably got jobbed last year, but his trajectories at this team is expected to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's a surprise to say that. That's the expectation. And if he's going to lead the team to the Super Bowl, he's probably going to win the MVP.
Correct. Well, and then when you look at all the other ones I did, I took Buffalo on everything. And yes, you can call me a homer all you want, but like you said, in Vegas, Buffalo is favored to win it all this year. Right now, they are the favorites to win it all. Right now, if you look at Caesars, and that's what we use as Caesars Sportsbook, they're the win it all. But when you look at to win the division, right now for them to win the division, when you got New England, you got Miami, and you got the Jets, and I don't even know really if I'm worried about Miami, but they'd probably be the closest. It's 10 to win $4. It's 10 to win $4. So, like, even though I still jumped on that, just because Buffalo gives me something to root for. I got Buffalo going over an 11.5 wins, and that's still minus money. That's still 10 to win 7. So I got them going over that. I've got them winning the conference. Now, winning the conference is a little different. That's 10 to win 35. They're still the front runners, though. So because the NFL has so much parity and so much things can happen, and you look at last year, they should have freaking won, screw you, but they should have freaking won. They're still 10 to win $35, and they're still favorites. And then to win the Super Bowl, they're still the favorites, and it's 10 to win $75. So I threw all those out there. Once again, that means I have 30, 40, 50, 60, 90. I have almost $100 tied up in just those preseason bets. And I'm not going to see any of that back till the end of the year. But I had that in my account. Like I said, I did well personally last year, so I had that in my account. I can afford it, and that's one thing we always preach on here. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Don't expect to win. Plan on losing and be happy when you win. So I had it. I'm going to throw it out there. I don't expect to lose. So I think Buffalo's going to do good. But if I do, I do. And, it's no big deal.
I think this is with everything that went on last year at the end, and then you look at things that happened during training camp this year. I think all that's going to do is just galvanize this team. I agree with you. I think they're the team to beat in the AFC. I wouldn't be surprised if they saw Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody would. I wouldn't be surprised if they saw Green Bay in the Super Bowl. But I think they're definitely the team to beat.
Green Bay might be a little bit of a shock. I understand it is Aaron Rodgers, but no Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have to play games, man. That's why we play
Correct.
games.
Correct. All right, let's get into this week's pick. Or do you want to do any preseason? Do you have any preseason you want to throw out there?
No, I don't have any preseason picks to go with. I just, I would just say this. My little hot take Harry moment here is I wouldn't be surprised to see 3 teams out of the AFC West in the playoffs. And I wouldn't be surprised if Denver was the odd team out. That division, they're just going to beat each other up. Now that could be good, but that could also be bad. So that is definitely the best division in the conference. So and just looking at the teams that are in it, I could totally see Kansas City, Vegas, San Diego. I could also see Kansas City, Denver, San Diego. I could see any combination of 3 teams making the playoffs. That's the only thing that I was going to add.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, Kansas City, I don't think is a powerhouse that they once were, but they're still going to be a force to reckon with. Vegas, I think Vegas is not getting enough love. I think they're going to be very good this year. I don't know, man. Denver's missing a couple pieces here and there, but Russell Wilson's still a force to reckon with. So,
yeah, true. Just to go a little Bronco hating right now. When was the last time? When was the last time Denver actually drafted and developed a quarterback? I'll give you a hint. Never. So they keep poaching quarterbacks from other teams, and eventually it's going to cost them.
I was going to say it's got to be Elway. I know they didn't draft him, but they pretty much developed him.
Yeah, but I don't count that because they didn't draft him. So
okay, fair enough. But they did develop him. He was an Elway.
Yeah. So
until he was there, but
that's the only thing that I was going to add is just, I wouldn't be surprised to see a very competitive AFC West.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, let's get into our week 1 picks. We always start with our straight picks, meaning we're picking one game, one thing to happen. It does not have to be just the winner. It can be the over-under. It could be for Josh Allen to throw a touchdown. It could be whatever. Okay, but it's just one thing. A straight pick is just one thing. I'm just taking that. It could be with points, could be on the money line. Doesn't matter. This week, I am going with the Broncos. I'm going $20 to win 7. So Vegas is right there with me. And that is 100% more about Seattle sucking than it is Denver being good.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Geno Smith, I mean, I understand. And I talked to plenty of Seattle fans that are like, we want to lose. We want the picks. We want to get a new quarterback. Next year's supposed to have a great quarterback class. We want to lose. Don't get, it's all Jimmy G talk. Don't get him. We don't want him. We want to lose. Da-da-da-da-da. And that's a whole other, I can't believe Jimmy G's not on a team right now. When you look at half the starting quarterbacks in the league, I think he's better than half of them. When you look at his he's got one of the best winning percentages like ever. How is he not starting for a team right now? Anyway, it's a whole different discussion. But, when I was one screaming, how is Seattle not getting him? How are any Houston? How are any of these teams not getting him? And Seattle fans are like, we don't want him. Let's lose. We're content in having a losing season, and let's go get our Josh Allen or Justin Herbert or whoever it is next year. And I fully think they're in tank mode. So that's why I'm taking Denver against them.
I think a solid pick. Great reasoning too. We see this in a lot of sports. In order to, and Seattle's had a great run. They've had a wonderful run, but you could tell that the writing was on the wall when they gave up 2 draft picks for Jamal Adams and nothing got any better on the defense.
Yep.
And then now it's just time to just clean house, and you got to bottom out before you can get better again. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be pain, but this is a solid pick. I think Denver wins as well.
Yeah. Well, and the only thing I could say that I heard this week that goes against my pick is somebody was saying that Seattle is, I think, 7-1 when they wear those mint green jerseys they wear, and they're wearing those mint green jerseys. So they're 7-1. My only comeback to that is every time Russell Wilson was wearing that jersey, he ain't wearing it now. Geno Smith is not gonna go 8-1. It's not gonna happen. So that's the only data against it. So what are you straight picking this week?
I'm going with your boys on Thursday. I'm taking Buffalo on the money line, 20 to win 14. Um, this is a great opportunity for Buffalo to like shut people up right at the beginning. It's also could be an opportunity for them if they fall on their face, where everybody's going to be like, well, they're same old sorry ass Bills. I think they're going to come through. I'm kind of concerned with Matt Stafford's health right now. He didn't. He's been injured the entire training camp. So, but they say he's ready to go. So we'll see what happens. But I really like the Bills this week. I know that the favorite is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 meetings, but I just think the Bills are going to be too much here. It's not so. I think it's going to be a close game. So I think the spread is like right on, but I think Buffalo pulls this out. I think it's a win late, and this is their. If you're going to be the best team and you're going to win the Super Bowl, you might as well start by defeating the defending champions in their stadium.
I agree. And now, there's, of course, I'm watching this game closer than any of the rest of them, but there's a lot of data to show that like McVay is 5-0 in week 1 starts. He's 5-0. He hasn't been defeated. But when you look at those teams he's played, it's been Indy his first year. Then he played Oakland. Then he played, was it Carolina, Dallas, Chicago?
Yeah, there's a murderer's row.
Yeah, correct. So, I mean, Dallas, okay, I'll give you a little bit of Dallas. Chicago last year was terrible.
No, when they played the Raiders were crap.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've beat them by an average of like almost 17 points, but they haven't played a team like Buffalo. And this is Von Miller's third game in a row at SoFi Stadium.
That's funny.
His third game in a row at that stadium. So he's kind of undefeated there in his past 2 games. So he gives them that pressure on the quarterback that they needed. Yep. Stafford does not do well with the pressure. He's kind of Tom Brady-esque in that, where if you get him uncomfortable, he's going to make mistakes. They're not going to win. I understand their Super Bowl chance. I understand they got Donald. I get it. And I'm not sitting here saying Buffalo is going to blow them out of the water and it's not even going to be a contest. But I think Buffalo has the right pieces. Everybody's healthy. God, Buffalo's running backs. Oh, my Christ. So I like it. It is a little bit of a worry. And like I said, part of me, like you said, it's for both teams, not just Buffalo. For both teams, it's going to be whoever loses this one. It's going to be, oh, the Bills are back. They're back to sucking again. No, they were overrated. They're not the Super Bowl. Or the Rams. Oh, the Rams were a one-off last year. They're done. They can't even beat the. It's a lose-lose when you look at it that way.
It's going to be like overreaction Friday and jobs.
Correct.
I think it's a great game to start the season. I really do. I think it's going to be awesome.
NFL got something right.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Now we're going to go to our parlays. Parlays are when you put more than one game together. Okay. It's got to be at least 2. It can be as many as you want. Last year, I actually hit a 20-team parlay. And remember, you have to have, I did that on my own. I didn't do it on the show, but I had a 20-team parlay and it was, let's be honest, it was all favorites and it was like $10 to win 80 or something like that. So it wasn't mind blowing. It wasn't
wins or wins.
Correct. It wasn't, I saw somebody had an 18-team parlay and they got 17. Was the last year, 2 years ago, and it was like $1 to win $800,000 or something like that. So it wasn't crazy like that, but every team has to win. Every bet has to win, I should say. So you don't have to bet teams. You could put over and unders in these, but every single bet you make has to win in a parlay for you to win. So I'm taking Carolina, I'm taking Philly, I'm taking Baltimore, and I'm taking Indy. All on the money line. I'm not taking any points. So it's 20 to win 75. And once again, those are all favorites. And if I do each one individually, if I were to bet, what is that, $5 each one individually, I would not make $75.
Right.
But putting them together and causing them to be one single bet where everyone has to win increases my odds. So that's why I did it. And that's usually what we like to do on the show a lot, is to put a bunch of the favorites together um, to try to capitalize on our winning and make it worthwhile. So we got Carolina. Once again, I've already talked about how, Baker's come and it's a revenge game. Baker, how pissed do you have to be if you're Baker Mayfield? You're sitting there, bad relationship with them, and then they go and give Deshaun Watson all that freaking money, and he's not even going to play over half the season. Like,
Oh, for sure.
you have got to be steaming. You've got to be so freaking pissed. It doesn't matter. Plus, Cleveland doesn't have Deshaun, so that factors into it as well. So I think that's an easy bet to win. I can't wait to see what the new was it State Farm commercials are or whatever he does. Like,
Oh
it's
the at home with Baker Mayfield.
him with Baker.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna be interesting.
it's the new one's gonna be, hi, I'm Deshaun Watson and I'm your new neighbor and I'm legally obliged to tell you that.
Yeah.
So, but I like Carolina. Philly, I think Philly, I mean, how can you go wrong with AJ Brown? I mean, how can you go wrong? They were a playoff team last year, and I like Jalen Hurts. I really do. I think he's got to settle down a little bit in the pocket, but I think they addressed that. I think he'll be ready to come out and shit. Just throw the ball. Just throw the damn ball, and let them freaking. And they're playing Detroit now. I will say I think Detroit's going to have a decent year this year. I really do, and I know that's hard to say, but I do think they're going to have a decent year this year. I think it's going to be kind of a bounce back for them. But I think Philly's going to be too much with the way they run the ball, and now they have AJ Brown. I think they're going to be too much. When you've got Baltimore, it's the Jets. They're playing the Jets. Lamar is still the only worry about this game is it's Tuesday, and there's been rumors that Lamar isn't going to play if he doesn't have. I don't really believe that, so we'll see what happens. But Zach Wilson might play, but I still think even with Zach Wilson, they're not the team. So I'm not so worried about that. And when you look at Indy, and we're going to find out this week, is Matt Ryan going to pull, some former quarterbacks did and revive their career? Payne went to Denver and got a, ring and everything like that. Is it going to be one of those, or is it he's really done? Atlanta was terrible last year, and I don't think a lot of that had to do with him. So I don't know, but I still don't think Houston is good enough to beat them.
Nope.
I'm not a Davis Mills hater, but I don't think he's the guy. I think
No.
that Jimmy G, I think, is definitely better than him. I can't believe they didn't go get him. So they're 7-point favorites. I'm taking them on the money line. So I think that's a money bet.
Yeah, those all sound great. One thing about Indianapolis too, this is their fourth quarterback in 4 years, and so that's got to be something where there's no consistency there. They thought they were going to get it with Wentz. Apparently they didn't saw something that they didn't like. Rivers was a 1 year. How far can we get with this guy? And before that, it was Luck and Brissett, and it was just they need stability. I don't understand I kind of get going to get Matt Ryan, but for the long-term stability of this position, I don't understand why you went and got Matt Ryan. Now, that being said, I think all those are going to come through. I expect a bounce back here from the Lions as well, but I don't think they're going to win this game. I think that Baltimore could start anybody that they want in this game, and I think they'll beat the Jets. And I hate to say that because my buddy Eric is a big Jet fan, but the Jets are that team that bought like Seattle did, right? They got the draft picks, they bought them out, and we're going to give the ball to the rookie if he's healthy enough, and hopefully he can lead us to more wins this year. So, I think this is a solid 4-teamer right here.
Yeah, me too. What do you got?
Well, I've got, I'm going to do what I like to do and split them up AM and PM. My AM parlay, I got Carolina on the money line like you in the revenge game. And then I'm taking the under in the Jets Baltimore game, under 44.5. It's hard to get a read on these teams in the preseason because a lot of them don't play any starters. I know the Jets played Wilson and they played Mike White. They have to see what they have. The bad teams are probably going to play more players than the good teams. But this game screams under to me as a leadoff game in the season, especially with the Jets not knowing if they're going to go with Wilson or they're going to go with Flacco. They can start Joe Namath. They're not going to score points. So I'm going with the under on this, $20 to win 51.
That's a good call. And that for those of you that watch and you pay attention, Tony does not usually like to go under. He likes to root for points. So
I love points.
Yeah, so you might want to think it a little bit. Something else, even though it is a revenge game and everything. First of all, Christian McCaffrey's back, okay, and supposedly healthier than ever, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But take a guess when the last time Cleveland won a season opening game is.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Please say it was 2002.
You're close. You are close. 2004. 2004. They are 0-16-1 in week 1 games.
And that brings up a point though, Kaus, is one of the things that we do, and we're lucky now that we have all this data that we can look at. And it's totally acceptable. Let's go after the trends. I think one of the trends that I hammered last year was, for some reason, every time San Francisco plays Arizona, that game seems to go under more times than not. So I hammered the under twice, and I think it went under both times. And you're talking about a team in Arizona that wanted to throw the ball as much as they could. And for some reason, when they play San Francisco, they just don't score as much. So here's a case where Cleveland hasn't won an opening season game in 18 years. I would completely bet against them. Until you win something, I'm going to bet against you. It's similar to, riding Tom Brady or riding, a team that's won 10 in a row, or betting against Houston because they suck. We're going to follow trends.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that we've mentioned on the show is betting against Belichick or Brady, even together or apart. It's one thing we don't like to do, because even though we believe it, it usually comes back to haunt us. So,
exactly.
All right, what's your afternoon?
Vegas PM on the money line and Green Bay on the money line, 20 to win 70. That Vegas Chargers game is going to be really good. You're going to have the quarterbacks in the AFC West are completely unreal. And the funny part is, Derek Carr gets more weapons this year. They are super aggressive, and Derek Carr might be the 4th best quarterback. And I mean, isn't that crazy? So
yeah, but Vegas hit the over some ungodly amount last year too.
True.
So it's not out. And then Herbert. I like Herbert a lot. We both talked about how we like Herbert a lot.
Yeah,
but right now, based on his form, he's all or nothing. He's going to come out and he's going to get you 400 or 500 yard game and score 4 touchdowns and whatever, or he's going to come out and throw a dud. He hasn't shown us a lot of in between. Now it's happened, but he hasn't shown it a lot. So it's gonna be, I can't wait to watch that game. It's going to be a great game.
For sure. I can't wait to watch either.
Yeah, but it's man, too scary for me. Same thing with that freaking Green Bay Minnesota game. What is Green Bay going to be without Devontae Adams?
I'm very interested. That's what I'm very interested to see. But I'm going to give in that game, I'm going with the experience. I like the better quarterback in Aaron Rodgers over Kirk Cousins.
I would agree with that.
I think that's going to be. I think this game's close. I think they've nailed the spread. I think it's 1.5. I think they've totally nailed this.
Well, the only issue that I see with Kirk Cousins is, believe it or not, they actually found a coach that likes him.
All right,
so that might be something different. So
you might like that.
Yeah, it might help it. But 20 to win 70 to get those 2 games that you're going to watch anyway. Might as well throw a little skin in the game. Take Vegas and Green Bay for the reasons you said, and freaking run with it. 20 to win 70. Heck yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
All right, next we're going to teasers.
Yes, let's do it.
Teasers, and I love teasers. They're probably my favorite bet because I get to make the odds in my favor. The only thing that kills me is sometimes I get a little greedy. And I go, well, if I'm teasing, then man, if this team gets another 6 and this team gets another 6 and this under gets another 6, or all of a sudden I'm going, oh yeah, all these coming in, and I got like a 20 team teaser. It's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So you gotta be careful a little bit. But mine, I have 2, 4, 6. I have a 6-team teaser on mine. I did throw in a little Saturday games. I wanted to throw Nevada in there, but we couldn't find a line yet because right now the Wolfpack are the bet. We'll see how it goes the rest of the season. But right now they're 2-0 and starting out the year good. And they got UIW, who I'm not going to lie, I had to look up who the hell that was. But I couldn't find a line on them, so they're not in there. But what I could find a line on was Michigan.
Yeah, buddy.
And Michigan looks great.
Yes, they do.
And I realize that, they're kind of still in the beginning of the season when they're playing, but they look great. I took them, they're minus 51. So I teased it down and took minus 45. They're playing Hawaii. Okay. I teach at Apollo High School in Glendale, Arizona. One of our former students, one of our former players actually plays for Hawaii. Left tackle. I believe he's left tackle. Maybe he's right. He's a tackle for Hawaii. So I root for Hawaii. So I'm not trying to take anything, but week 0, I took them. God, they looked horrible, and they were in Hawaii. And I understand they were playing Vanderbilt that week.
They play Vanderbilt,
yeah. And I understand it's Vandy, but they're in Hawaii, and usually in Hawaii they do decent, and they got rolled. Last week they got rolled again in Hawaii. It's like, come on, and now you're traveling to a fantastic Michigan team. I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm rooting for you. I hope you do well, but you're going to get rolled. I'm going to take advantage, and I'm going to make that loss a win for me. I'm going to tease the Buffalo game to 3.5 because I do think it's going to be close, and might as well take any points I can get. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Steelers. Teasing them up to plus 12.5. They're plus 6.5 right now, plus 12.5. Mitch Trubisky is not getting as much love as he should. And you can call, well, he's a homer because he was on Buffalo last year. But he learned, I mean, when he was playing, when he was a starting quarterback and you saw glimpses where he could be good. It was Nagy as his coach. Like, what do you expect?
There's a lot to be said about the coaches that are coaching these quarterbacks up, and if you have a coach that can't coach your quarterback, that's kind of an issue. I think that San Francisco have that issue where it was the offensive coordinator change like every year. I know Derek Carr had that issue. He had 5 different offensive coordinators in 5 different years. Well, how the hell are you supposed to get good?
Correct.
You can't. There's no way to get good. And so I think this is this is going to be good for Trubisky.
Well, and so you put him a year under Dabo, who shows his colors 2 years in a row, got nominated. And I wasn't a big Dabo fan, but I see the potential there. I see what he can do. And I'll admit to it, I'm still not a huge fan of his just because I thought he ran Josh Allen too much. But I see it. He got to learn under him. He got to learn under Josh Allen. Then he goes to a team that historically Tomlin wins. I mean, he wins year in and year out. He wins, period. And I think this is a good game. Yes, it's Cincinnati. And yes, they were in the Super Bowl last year. And I get it, but they got a lot of weapons. But I think Pittsburgh can keep it close. And if they can keep it close, I almost got 2 touchdowns there. So why not? I'm taking KC minus 0.5. I'm teasing up KC just in case Arizona does show up. If Arizona does show, I think the closest they get is to within a field goal. So I'm going to tease that up and take it at 0.5. Then I'm taking your strategy with saying week 1, people are dusting it off. We don't really know what we got, but New Orleans, Atlanta under 48.5. Like, Atlanta doesn't have a quarterback. I mean, it's like Denver a couple of years ago, and then COVID, they had to play. I forgot his name. The receivers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they're not going to they're not going to be able to put up their end of the bargain on points. Winston's coming off an injury. So, but once again, when you tease over under, you're making this in your, so right now the under is 42.5. So I'm adding 6 points to that, and I'm going to be under that. So I'm making it easier for me to hit. And then once again, same reason in Denver, Seattle, I'm taking the under. I'm teasing that up to 50.5 because Geno Smith will be lucky to get 2 touchdowns on the board for him. So that's why I'm taking that.
I like that. I like that under in that Atlanta game because I think the Saints defense is overlooked. And I think they just added the honey badger in the offseason too. So
yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if Mariota is the answer. He's probably the stopgap between
correct
when they start playing Desmond and you know they gotta train him and coach him up. But yeah, I don't see how that game reminds me of an old fashioned like 17-14 old NFC South game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so, my $20 on that is going to win me 120 when it comes in. So I'm good with it.
Sure. I mean, you're going to run to the window on that one. I like your, and I really like your strategy behind Pittsburgh and keeping it close because 12.5 is, I mean, that you're right. That is nearly 2 touchdowns. So, and you're right. Tomlin just wins as much as we can't. I can't stand the Steelers, but you know, give him his due, man. They just win and they just make the playoffs. It's just batty.
Correct. All right. I see you got a couple of teasers here. You got a Saturday and a Sunday, huh?
I do. And I haven't been able to get a read on college football yet. I mean, we're basically in week 2. The first week 0, not everybody played. And then last week, a lot of teams, I mean, other than that, we had a couple really good games. Like that Florida State game was bananas at the end. And that Florida-Utah game was really good. But let's face it, like the teams are playing just, you know, our Lady of the Hopeless Miracle U. So it's hard to get a read. So what I did is I just picked 3 games and I said, you know what, I'm going overs. I picked Texas Tech and Houston over 59.5, and they historically just score points. Houston last year, their offense was incredible. And then they ran into Cincinnati, and Cincinnati was so good. I'm taking Kentucky and Florida over 46.5. This could be a letdown game for Florida after coming off that win against Utah, but I think they can score enough to cover the 46.5. I mean, 31-17, that covers the number. And I'm taking Oklahoma State and Arizona State over 52. This $20 will win me 36. This is going to be a very interesting game for Arizona State. Traveling to Oklahoma State, it's going to be loud. It's going to be hostile there. And, you know, this Oklahoma State team is a team in transition. I'm very interested to see, and I'm actually looking forward to watching this, how these 2 teams come out. I mean, this is, you're talking about an Arizona State team that pretty much has to win to save the coach's job this year. So, you know, it's going to be fun. And, you know, it's $20. Like I said, I can't get a read on a lot of these teams because, you know, like Arizona State played Northern Arizona, you know, like what is that going to show you? So I'm just like,
jokes.
Yeah, just let me see if I can see some points here. So that's my Saturday teaser.
But the ASU did what they were supposed to a crappy team, what they were supposed to do, and they wiped the floor with them. And I don't think ASU took a step backwards at quarterback like a lot of people think they did. I actually think they took a step up.
Yeah, I was never a Jaden Daniels guy.
Yeah, and he didn't look good last week either. So, like, I truly think, you know, I'm not sitting here and once again, Homer. I think ASU is going to do well in the Pac-12. I'm not sitting here saying they're going to be a Final Four team or, you know, anything like that. I don't even see when they do make it 12 teams. I don't even see them being a Final 12 team. But I do think they are going to do well in the Pac-12, better than they did last year. It's looking good for us Sun Devil fans over here.
Yeah, and that's good news because we want to see that, right? We want to see football is better. The Pac-12 is better when Arizona State's good.
I agree. All right, what are you doing Sunday?
Sunday, I picked a few, same as yours. I picked Atlanta over plus 11.5 because I see that game being close. I don't see a lot of a lot of scoring. And if there's not a lot of scoring, I'm going to tease that number up because I'm getting 11.5. So if there's a total of 34 points scored in this game, chances are it's going to stay within 11.5. I tease up that Carolina revenge game up to 5. I think they're just going to win straight up, but this way I'm increasing my odds. I'm taking Cincinnati -0, -0.5. So we've got opposite sides in this game, but we teased it so we can actually both win under the right circumstances. So say if Cincinnati wins this game 10-7, you win because you cover the 12.5. I win because I cover the 1/2, and everybody's happy. I'm taking Detroit and Philadelphia over 42.5, and Arizona, Kansas City over 47.5. I'm going against the unders on those two games because Kansas City and Arizona historically like to score. So I think that's going to be a fun game if you're a fan of either one of those teams because it's going to light up the scoreboard. And Detroit, I expect Detroit to bounce back like we talked about earlier. I think Philadelphia wins this game. Detroit's playing at home. So you have a track there that's indoors. So indoor games tend to see a few more points than the outdoor games. So like I said, I think Philadelphia wins. I think Detroit's improved, but 28-17, and that's a winner. So we'll see if I can get that 20 to make me $80 this week.
Yeah, this worries me a little bit. Because I always want to see you win. In that Atlanta game, 34 points. But that means he's got to, if it's 34 points,
mm-hmm.
then you got 20-14 just to get to 34. 21-14 wins it. Is Mariota going to be able to put up 2 touchdowns against that New Orleans team?
That's a great question. But I think another question is Captain Eat That W going to be able to do anything in that game as well? So
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I do think Cincinnati wins outright, so I like that on yours. But
I think Cincinnati wins, but I think it's close. Remember last year, Cincinnati was involved in a lot of close games.
Yeah,
and so. I don't think I think they had one blow. I think they blew out the Chiefs. And when I say blow out, I think they beat them by over 7. I don't remember.
Right.
I think they beat the Steelers. I think they blew out the Steelers once, but the Steelers were kind of trying trending down. Yeah. I think Cincinnati wins, but I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. It's go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say it's week 1. It's super hard. Like
so hard.
Did Burrow even play? I don't even think he played in the preseason. I don't
think he played it down.
Carr and Adams didn't even play. So is it fair to expect them to come out with guns blazing? I don't know. They might, but I doubt it.
That's why I'm scared taking the over. Detroit, Philly, I could see that at least. Arizona, KC, I don't know. Another person undefeated in week 1 is Patrick Mahomes. He's undefeated as a starting quarterback in week 1. And I just think that if KC gets up by too much, the game's going to be on Murray's. Well, it could call off the dogs and that could come in your favor, but it could also be Murray's going to have to make everything happen himself. They're going to have to get rid of the run game. They don't have D-Hop. Now you're looking at Hollywood to make all the play. They got, I forgot, what's their wide receiver 2 there? I forgot his name, but he's not terrible. I just think when you're I think Arizona's a team that can win when they can keep it close and you can still do stuff. When you have to say, Kyler, drop back, make something happen, they gave him a goddamn homework clause in taking it out, whatever. There's a reason. They were smart enough to know that he is not doing enough to what he needs to do. And now you're just going to put it in his hands and say, hey, you got which he does. He has God-given talent. But in the NFL, that's not enough. And so I think when you have Mahomes, who's Mahomes, and I understand he doesn't have Tyreek Hill, but you got Mahomes, he's come out, he puts points on the board, and then all of a sudden they're down by 14, they're down by 17, and you need Kyler Murray to make some bang plays.
True.
That's too much in a shot. I don't know if they can score enough points to do it. Now, if they keep it close to start with, and KC goes down and scores, AZ scores back and forth, then it's great for you.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
You don't have to do that. But if KC scores, KC gets a stop, KC scores again, KC stops into a field goal, all of a sudden now it's like, shit, we're away from the run game and you got to do it. So I worry about that over a little bit, but 20 to win 80 on that, that's not bad at all. I take that all day.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, it's week 1. We're rolling some dice here regardless. Just because of different situations. Like, yeah, you can look at last year and go, we'll use the Bills, for example. The Bills look great, got jobbed at the end. Okay, they reloaded. They should probably take care of business, right? You look at a team like Jacksonville, they were awful. They're getting Travis Etienne this year for once. They have a serviceable running back. I expect them to be a little better. Are they going to be world beaters? Probably not. But you look at some teams like you look at Vegas. Vegas should be better, but you're opening up against the Chargers. That's tough. I think they're going to win, but it's hard when you don't see in the preseason anybody other than backups.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part about week 1. But the fun part of week 1 is that football is back, and that on Sunday we are probably just going to put a clinic on the couch and just have that clicker in one hand and the cerveza in the other, and we're just going to take care of our biz.
I agree. So that is the end of our week 1 edition. Once again, we're so happy to be back this year. Yes, everybody at home, I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I hope we all take down Vegas. Remember, hit us up with questions or comments or feedback or anything. Hit us up. We're on Facebook at BSB Podcast 1. Twitter's the same. We're at YouTube's it's the same thing. I'll be on TikTok. There's all sorts of, you can email us, bsbpodcast1@gmail.com. Talk to us. We love talking football. We love talking strategy. We love talking betting. We love talking beer. So hit us up. I might even go live a couple of times. It depends how many cervezas I have in me. But
sounds good.
Watch us, hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking. Ask us questions. Please ask us anything. It's a lot easier to ask somebody that than it is to go to the window and go, what do I do here?
What the hell am I doing?
Yeah. So
yeah, for sure.
And last thing, as a reminder, this is purely entertainment. We do not guarantee any win we predict, although we wish we could.
Yeah, for sure. We don't have what was that book in Back to the Future 2?
The sports betting, almanac, the sports almanac.
That's the one.
That's what we need. So
for sure.
BS, I love you, buddy. Great to be back with you. Hope you have a great weekend.
Everybody have a good week 1. We'll see you next week.